App ideas for questions. An app that listens to a song playing in real life and then returns the names of musical instruments used in said song. It is like Shazam for instruments. How would one even start building such a tool? What APIs would be needed? Is this a successful app idea?
One approach could be using machine learning models to analyze the audio and identify the musical instruments used. To accomplish this, you would likely need to use several APIs, including an audio recording API to capture the sound of the song, an audio transcription API to convert the audio to a digital format, a machine learning API to analyze the audio and identify the instruments used. It depends on a number of factors, including the accuracy of the instrument identification and the demand for such an app.
So anyone in this space pretty much understand the ML and APIs in numerous types. They're not jargons anymore, and I also know regular people using the words, but I can still sense they don't fully know how to apply it. Don't you think this is a unique build to identify instruments versus an app parsing a composite of audio data that sounds exactly like an audio file?
While many people may be familiar with the terms machine learning and APIs, actually building an app that can accurately identify musical instruments in real time requires a high level of expertise and knowledge in these areas, such as breaking it down into its individual frequencies and identifying patterns that are characteristic of different instruments. This is a complex task that requires a deep understanding of audio processing, machine learning algorithms, and music theory. For example, a guitar can be played in many different ways, and it can be difficult to distinguish between different instruments when they are played in similar styles. Additionally, many modern recordings use a variety of processing techniques, such as layering multiple tracks and using effects, that can make it difficult to accurately identify the instruments used.
Especially when a lot of music productions sample music from last couple decades. To mask their unoriginal creativity and make the songs sound fresh, such sound effects must be applied. This happens a lot on TikTok sounds too. Do you think to decompile the sound file, the gibberish data would have signatures indicating a period of the sound have, maybe some layers or some effects applied? Such signatures can help distinguish,
such as frequency, amplitude, and time, and analyzing these components for patterns or characteristics that are indicative of specific effects or processing techniques. For example, you could analyze the frequency spectrum of a sound file to identify the presence of specific instruments or the use of equalization. Additionally, you could analyze the stereo field of a sound file to identify the use of panning or spatial processing. Additionally, certain machine learning techniques, such as deep learning techniques like convolutional neural networks, CNNs, and recurrent neural networks, RNNs, can be trained to identify the presence of specific effects or instruments in an audio file. This could be done by training the model on a dataset of audio files that have been labeled with information about the instruments and effects used.
All right, give us a rundown from top to bottom, how a developer should code a prototype of this idea.
Recording audio. You can use the microphone API on the device to access the microphone and record audio. Transcribing audio. There are various audio transcription libraries or APIs that can be used for this purpose. Audio feature extraction. This step would involve breaking down the audio into its individual frequencies, amplitudes, and time, and analyzing these components for patterns or characteristics that are indicative of specific instruments. Machine learning model training. Once you have extracted features, you would need to prepare a labeled dataset of audio files so the model can learn to recognize the instruments. Model deployment. Once the model is trained, you can deploy it on your app and use it to identify the instruments used in real time. User interface. Lastly, you can design a user interface for the app that allows users to record audio, view the identified instruments, and display any errors or issues.